Let me be the first to tell you that this one thing in my mindset going into the month of December specifically has absolutely changed my business. Because before I was soft and I was the traditional average of all the agents. And now I've changed that mindset, completely changed my trajectory, my career, my family's financial future, and everything. And this was before Ed Mylett coined the term separation season. We're going to go to all that and more next. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane, Real Estate Agent Playbook, eXp Realty here. This is something that Ed Mylett gave me clarity to that I had realized and already made the adjustment and shift. So we're going to dive into that. But if you are in a season where, maybe you're feeling a little bit down, maybe you're stressed out about the commission lawsuits, maybe you're stressed out about, the market being down 40% or 70% if you're a lender, now is a time to really dial it in. If you would like to book a call with me, I do calendar audits, and this is a massive help to our goal setting. There's so much business planning out there, but if you would like a calendar audit, book a game plan call with me below and we can dive in. But first, listen to this and it'll tell you a little bit about my mindset and how I changed my real estate business for forever. So here we are, 2 or 3, 4 years into the business. I made $100,000. I was top 10 at my brokerage of over 1,000 agents and everything was good. I literally bragged about taking the entire month of December off. What did that mean to me? Taking the month of December off was something completely different and something that I didn't really fully understand at the time. I loved it. I was spending time with my family. I was doing things. I was going out with my friends, hanging out. It was a great time for connection, but it was a terrible time for my business because what I didn't realize is that taking that month off not only made me end the year not so well. I did some goal setting and some other stuff there, business planning as everyone's doing these days. And then that was it. But also in real estate, per the nature of our contract alone, a 30-day, 60-day close, it takes a long time to get momentum. So what I was doing is halting my momentum in that time frame. And certainly, there are less homes on the market. There are less people transacting during the holidays because people don't want to move, especially in Denver and the weather. However, that does not mean that business cannot go on and you cannot improve and grow. And so that was my mindset early on. And it was great. I had some great times. I'm not saying, this is a time where you completely dismiss all the family activities and all the parties and all the things. But taking this approach absolutely changed my financial trajectory forever. So I want to share that with you. So let's go back to Ed Mylett and talk about, the season of separation. He calls it separation season. He talks about how hard it is, say for a professional athlete or a professional business person to level up and catch someone, right? If everyone's running the race and everyone's continuing to run at the same pace and doing the same thing, there is very little time for the person that's not, in the game as long, or, maybe the rookie to catch up to, the professional or the person that's been doing it, that's kind of leading the show, that top agent, whatever that might be for you. And so by nature, what happens is, if this person slows down, oh, it's the holidays. Oh, we have family parties. Oh, we have all these events. We have to go look at Christmas lights. We have to go to, these church events or whatever that may be. And we slow down. And if the person up here is slowing down and you slow down, that gap is not decreased. However, if this person slows down and you keep running at your normal pace, you have the opportunity to make up ground. And it may not be all the ground at once, but separation season after separation season, stacking upon stacking is absolutely what Ed Mylett is talking about here. And it's absolutely game changing. I actually was just working out the other day, and this podcast, it's from a couple years ago, came up on my feed and I just listened to it, right? It was November 24th. It didn't have the year. I thought it might be new, but then as I listened to it, there was COVID references and things like that in there. And so I'm listening to it. One thing he said is Christmas is a holiday. It's not a Halla week or a Halla month. New Year's is a holiday. It's not a Halla month. It's not a Halla week. And if we can make that small adjustment, most people treat the holidays from Thanksgiving to New Year's as the Halla 45 days or whatever it is, right? Sometimes it's 40, sometimes it's 35, whatever it might be. So understand that that's the first concept about what we're trying to do here is we're trying to gain ground because naturally people will slow down. You will be in the 1% minority if you don't slow down, you do the things to change your business that you absolutely need to do. And it might not be transacting as a real estate agent. It might be dialing in that system and process, dialing in accounting, dialing in some marketing, dialing in some advertising. But taking that into account, especially in your business, is absolutely key. So let's talk a little bit about this. And I kind of mentioned it in the intro, is this business planning thing. I've had people doing business planning since October 15th of this year, posting about it, doing all the things, starting 24 out with a bang, like, let's go, we're ready to go. Certainly, business planning and preparing is key. But as I said last month, if you're business planning on November 1st, and that's your main focus, and you've completely shifted your focus, you're not giving your 2023 business plan 1/6 of the attention it deserves, with November and December being outlying. And so as people continue to do these business plans, let's be real, it doesn't take 2 months to do a business plan, right? It takes a short amount of time. Business plans, certainly, it can take a day or 2 or 5, whatever that is, but it needs to be focused time. And we can't forget that we still have 60 days from November 1st to December 31st that we can actually make gains. And so this is how I know people are slowing down. They're shutting it down. By nature, when you do a business plan for the next year and you don't put it away and you're not disciplined, which I'm not as disciplined as I should be, I'm sure most people aren't. If you don't just put that away, put it in a desk drawer, and dial in your focus back to your 2023 goals and what you can do to close out the year strong, you are doing yourself and your business a disservice. And so as we roll here, some basic things that you can do to make sure that you are separating during separation season. First things first, health and fitness. This is huge. Obviously, the goodies, the treats, the pies, the candy, all of the things, the weird schedules, the events, the parties. This is a perfect time for you just to say, whatever. Like, I'm going to go off the wagon and I'm going to be off the wagon, and I can't make it up because it was so bad that I'm just going to, start focusing on my New Year's resolution. And on January 1st, I'll turn it back off. This is absolutely something that affects your business, your personal, your family. Everything is your health, your weight, your activity level, and how you're, what you're putting into your body. So maybe this holiday season, you're doing it a little bit more. I know a big thing that I do is if I'm going to go to a party, I know I might indulge a little bit. I'm going to earn it, right? I'm going to work out. I'm going to bookend the workouts on those 2 days, morning, and then the next day I'm going to have a really good workout to say, okay, well, you did it. Now you better make up that ground, because, otherwise it just snowballs, right? And that's when we slow down. And so fitness and health is absolutely a key to making sure that your mindset and your focus is in play, because it has such an effect. What you put in your body has such an effect on the output. The next is separation moments with your family. Maybe this Christmas, you're going to make it a point to eat dinner at the dinner table 7 days a week, right? Maybe you're going to make it a point to get back to church. Maybe you're going to make it a point to get out and volunteer and expose your family to helping some homeless people, or whatever that may be, doing something a little bit different, but taking advantage, being fully present in those moments, allow you to not be like, oh, it's family time. Well, family time shouldn't consist of you sitting on the couch watching football on your phone the entire time. I'm the first culprit, right? That's me. Like, okay, yeah, we're hanging out. Are we engaging? Are we talking about it? Are we having conversation that doesn't involve these technological things that we've surrounded ourselves with? Absolutely key. So dial in those Halla moments for your family, and this will help you a lot as you continue to pour in and separate in your business as well as your family life, what you can do in this month and why it can be so special, right? If it's just another Christmas, Dad did the same thing that last Christmas. He, ate a bunch of food, fell asleep on the couch, watching football, and didn't talk to me the entire day. He watched me open presents, took some pictures, posted them on Instagram, and that's all, right? Do something a little bit different this holiday season that will separate, with intentionality, right? Because then we're doing something to make this holiday memorable and separating that gap as well. And we all know that when we have those strong outside relationships or inside relationships with our family, that our mental clarity and our focus and our energy towards our business can be more direct and absolutely make a change. Next one is Friday afternoons from 1 to 5 is absolutely the time where most people clock out. It's happy hour. It's all the things. Certainly some people have happy hours, especially realtors, more than that. But that last half of the day on Friday is a day where you can absolutely separate. And this is year round, right? So maybe, you're just hearing this. Maybe it's not December when you're listening to this video or podcast and you're like, okay, this is, I can still implement. I'm telling you right now, the gap can be spread Friday through Sunday, getting some work hours in, clearly some time to spend with family and things if your kids are in school and activities. But you can separate from Friday at 1 p.m. to Sunday at 5 p.m. I guarantee it. And so that's, a little one if you're not watching this, as it was released in December. And if you have any comments on that, definitely, if you have a time where you feel like you're separating yourself, comment below. I'd be happy to hear your comments and go back and forth, as both on the podcast and the YouTube side. We try and build this community. So if you're listening on the podcast, go find the video and we can maybe check into what's going on as far as building that community as well. So comment below how you're separating. The next thing you can do to separate is make yourself uncomfortable. Do something that maybe the former you is a little uncomfortable with, right? And at the end of the day, this is something that you can absolutely do. And ultimately, sure, we started because we wanted to shorten the gap. But after we have that target and we're like, we want to catch that person, we don't need to be watching what they're doing, right? We can assume that they're going to be pulling back a little bit and we're sprinting full throttle. So if that's the case, then we're just looking at you. What can you do to separate? I'm 39 years old. What can I do? What have I done to separate 39-year-old from 38-year-old Jeremy? And that's exactly what you need to do in doing something uncomfortable, right? Maybe it's having one more conversation. Maybe it's, talking to a stranger, right? 75 hard thing. Have a real legitimate conversation with people in your community. Who knows what business and what, great things that can come from that one conversation. But more importantly, how are you doing to separate? What are you doing to separate yourself from the previous you? Because we're ultimately in competition with ourselves, although there are those, top producing agents we want to catch for sure. So do one thing that makes you uncomfortable. What easier way to do this than during holiday parties, right? That one person who's in the corner, who's maybe a little awkward, doesn't really know a lot of people there, go bring them in. Instead of just, going to the crowd that you usually do, your buddies or whatever. Be more holistic, be aware, because what better way to build your communication skills as a business owner than to have conversations with people that you normally wouldn't have conversations with, right? And certainly don't do it just to get a new deal or just to do this, but do it to sharpen your communication skills, because ultimately, if you have the best communication skills, you're going to also be gaining ground on the top producing agents, because once you get in comfort, it's really hard to kind of re-engage and get going and roll that way. The next thing, and one thing I want to point out, is a lot of agents spend their entire budget gifting and client stuff right now, right during the holiday season. If that is you, okay, that's fine. I would challenge you to maybe separate it, maybe do a smaller gift or a touch. I'm not saying don't have a holiday touch, but do something outside of the ordinary, right? Do something that's customized. Don't do the big group email that says happy holidays that every single lender sends out, that you just have a different logo on the bottom. It's the same message, right? Make sure that you're not doing things that are not authentic, because it's the authentic you that people want to transact and do business with. And so make sure that you're doing that. If you do the Christmas messages, maybe do a voice text, maybe do a video memo, make it personal, right? It may take a little bit longer, but it's going to go a lot further. A lot of times we just, as real estate agents, we're like, oh, I got to get that message out. Check that box, set everyone happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, whatever. That's not what we need to be doing. If you are sending out these unique, text messages or unique video messages or voice messages, maybe do it on the 22nd, or maybe do it between Christmas and New Year's, because people are gonna mostly do 24th and 25th and New Year's Day. And so if you're scheduling that, obviously I would imagine most of us aren't doing video text or sending our emails on Christmas. We shouldn't be. We should take some time with family and get those holiday moments rolling. But if you do it just on a different time, right? It's very, very smart to spread the wealth out and do it not when everyone else is. Okay, so do something a little bit differently. We talk about this with birthdays. St. Patrick's Day or an oddball holiday is a great time to, take some of that budget and put it towards that, because it's an additional touch at a time that they're not getting bombarded. Not saying don't send Christmas cards, not saying don't wish people Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is. But make sure that you're not just one of the crowd, because the whole point of this marketing and branding thing is to stand out and be a little bit different. And so I want to talk a little bit about, that original story, taking December off. Last night, I had a conversation with my daughter. She's in competitive gymnastics, if you don't know. And she, was at a practice, right? And I felt like she was just kind of going through the motions. She's had her competition. She's done with that. She has tryouts coming up in, 6 practices. And it's just kind of like, okay, going through the motions. Am I going to level up or not? And she's at a crossroads, right? She's at a place where she can go a competitive route or a less competitive route. And oddly enough, at 8 years old, once you kind of go on one of those paths, you're kind of on them as long as you're working hard on the competitive one, because they can bump you off to the other side. And so she was doing that, and I was just talking to her about these little opportunities, right? You have 6 practices until tryouts, right? And she was doing stations and she was with her buddy, and she just wasn't as dialed in, right? She wasn't doing it. And I was, for an 8-year-old to have a conversation with me as a competitive coach, as you guys know, I was upset. I was like, look, you're not taking advantage. You haven't made level 3, which is the next level. You haven't made that yet. And, you're losing. You had the social, that's great. I want you to have fun. And if you don't want to go on this competitive road, that's okay. But I know that come January 4th, when we get the news, whether you made it or not, if you didn't make it, you're going to be frustrated. And you're going to look back at this time and this opportunity that you had to, sharpen your skills, show the coaches your work ethic, show coaches that may not be on the gym floor coaching you now. Maybe your future coach is standing next to a parent. Oh, by the way, that's a parent you were talking to and messing around with, not getting your pull-ups in. And so I had this conversation, and it rings true to the real estate business, is exactly what you have to do. You don't want to be that person that's looking back, at this time in 2024, like, oh man, I wish I would have done this, right? This December is going to be different. Right now is the time for you to make massive gains. I am completely revamping my entire strategy going forward. I have to get better at my accounting practices. I have to get better at my systems and processes. And I'm using this time to absolutely do that, while continuing to serve the few clients that I have that are in the pipeline and that are under contract. But it's a massive time for you to dial in to your business right now in the present. Not, I'm going to do this in 2024. These are going to be implemented. I'm going to work on them. I'm going to spend some time on them, and they're going to start today. And if I change my mindset and how I operate today, things will get better. And so that's really it. And ultimately, Ed Milet ends his podcast with talking about little inches. And in sport, it's the game of inches, right? You've heard it, it's cliche, but you cannot, throw a Hail Mary just to win based on skill and whatever. Sure, it happens by luck every once in a while, but we don't want it to be luck. It's the little inches that you can gain over the next 30 days, 31 days that will absolutely get you a little bit closer to the competition, make you a little bit better person than you were 1 year ago. These little inches will pay dividends in the end, right? It's that power of one more that also Ed Milet talks about, that one more rep. Maybe you're going to do one more set of, arm workouts. Maybe you're going to do one more set of, you're going to run one more lap. You're going to do all these things just 1 inch at a time. And by the time you look up and you actually check in on that competition, you will have made up so much ground because you didn't slow down. You kept in momentum and you gained inch by inch, and you chipped away at that gap as much as you can. So I hope this helps. If you like what I said, please like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast with your favorite real estate agent, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.